What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are basically going to continue our coverage over the Reign of X era of X-Men comics, and we actually do pick up with Excalibur number 20. Now, with Excalibur number 20, it is basically the book that gives us the origin of a character that has been around since 1986. Matter of fact, Chris Claremont made her in Uncanny X-Men number 210, and that character is Malice. Now again, Malice has been around since 1986, but only appeared about like 30 books, and that is it. Now, when it comes to the character of Malice, she's basically just pure psionic energy. That's all she is. But she has the ability to take over other people's body. Now, when she does that, usually a black necklace appears around that person's body, but she's able to possess other people's body, kind of like a ghost. But the big question was, how in the world did she come to this point in her life? What is her actual origin? Where did she come from? And this is the book that's finally going to give us the origin of Malice. So I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. And if you do, please hit that like button down below. But here we go. Now, this is the moment where we basically get the origin of Malice. Now, with that being said, we actually jump way back in time to the point where we actually do pick up with a young Malice who's not a mutant just yet, meaning that her mutation has not manifested yet, and she's coming back home to her house. Now, she is 16 years old, and with her coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning, her mother is not happy, which of course makes sense. Now, with that being said, you do have her mom right now getting very upset with her coming home, and this is where we kind of learn that Malice just doesn't like her life completely. She hates her life, she hates where she lives, and her mom, they constantly argue almost every single day. Now, of course, in the middle of their argument, that is the moment where you actually do have Malice tell her mother that she wishes that she was dead. Not her mother, herself. It's basically Malice wishing that she was dead, that she was not alive anymore. And with this high stress moment, bam, her powers manifested. And the reason why I say that, because when Malice goes into her room, of course, something happens to her. She just collapses. And when her mom finds her, she finds that her daughter seems to be dead. But what really happened was, like I said, Malice powers manifested, and she basically turned to pure energy, pure psionic energy. She left her body, and so she's been a ghost ever since that moment. She's been going around just possessing people left and right. And so technically she did get what she wanted, which is to be dead. And I kind of say she's kind of like a ghost. She's kind of dead. But that is the origin of Malice. Now, we actually do jump over to the present day, where, of course, we actually do pick up with Bessie Braddock talking to the Quiet Council. Now, remember, the Quiet Council is basically the government system of COPPA. And right now, you have the Quiet Council talking to Bessie Braddock because she just recently, quote unquote, came back to life. And what I mean by that is, you have to remember, in our earlier videos we did for Excalibur right after X of Swords, well, in X of Swords actually, Bessie Braddock died, and her soul kind of traveled the multiverse. Now, thanks to her brother, Jamie Braddock, he had a body made thanks to Mr. Sinister, and of course, when he made that body, it was just the perfect time because the Excalibur team was able to bring the soul of Bessie Braddock back into the main Marvel universe and put that soul in the new body that was made by Mr. Sinister. Now, with that being said, though, this is the Quiet Council kind of giving Bessie Braddock an update. For example, Great Britain is very upset with their Captain Britain because she has been gone for a very long time. And with her being gone for a very long time, it is basically Great Britain want to remove Bessie Braddock as their Captain Britain. Now, on top of that right there, you do have the Quiet Council tell Bessie Braddock that Saturnine, the ruler of Otherworld, does not want to talk to COPPA at all. And so now they're telling Bessie Braddock, you need to go to Otherworld and talk to Saturnine to work things out, because we need to work with her, because we do have a gate into Otherworld. And so you do have Bessie Braddock say, fine, I'll handle both problems. Do not worry. Now, right after the meeting, of course, you do have Emma Frost kind of talking to Bessie Braddock. Now, when I say kind of, it does seem like Emma Frost has some attitude problem towards Bessie Braddock. But this is actually for a good reason, because that is the moment we come to find out that Emma Frost has been taken over by Malice. Because remember what I said, she has the ability to possess other people. And of course, she did possess Emma Frost, and she's trying to use Emma Frost to kill Bessie Braddock. But luckily for Bessie Braddock, well, really, they had a plan. And the reason why I say they is because Psylocke and Bessie Braddock both knew that Malice might try to attack the Quiet Council. And of course, she went after Emma Frost first. And so Psylocke was nearby to help Bessie Braddock take down Malice, who's in the body of Emma Frost. And of course, then trap the spirit of Malice inside some kind of psychic container to keep her trapped in there for the time being. Now, of course, that is the moment where you do have Charles Xavier kind of step in, because what Charles Xavier saw was just Bessie Braddock and also Psylocke attacking Emma Frost. But of course, that is the moment you do have the ladies tell Charles Xavier, no, we didn't attack Emma Frost, we attacked Malice, who was basically possessing Emma Frost. Now, after everything has been cleared up, this is the moment where you have Bessie Braddock and also Psylocke say they want to help Malice, because they have an idea that Malice is just an angry teenager who's going around and using her powers like an angry teenager. And technically they are right, because you have to remember, when it came to Malice and when her powers manifested, she was a teenager. She was 16 years old, and she was a 16-year-old child who wanted to die. And so she's angry at the world. She's angry at herself. And so with that being said, it's Psylocke and Bessie saying, we need to reason with her. Now, Charles Xavier's like, no, this girl has done a lot of bad things over the years. Why in the world would I want to try to reason with her? There are some mutants we can't forgive. But also, there are some mutants we need to lock up because of who they are. And so this is Charles saying we need to lock her up, but it's also Bessie Braddock and Psylocke saying no, we are going to give her a chance. Now, we actually do pick up with Bessie Braddock right now at the lighthouse. And remember, the lighthouse is basically the base of the Excalibur team. But right now, you have Bessie Braddock hanging out with Rogue and Jubilee as they're looking at dresses to wear for the Hellfire Gala event. And of course, that's coming very soon on this channel. Now, with that being said, though, you do have Psylocke also step by, and it's kind of like that moment where you have all the ladies coming together, and you have this awkward moment where Bessie Braddock realized that all her old fancy dresses were not made for her body. And you have to remember why. Because there was a point in Marvel Comics where Psylocke and Bessie Braddock had switched bodies. And for years and years and years, Marvel just never switched their bodies back. Meaning that when Bessie Braddock was buying clothes for like fancy moments, it was for the body of Psylocke, not her original body. But now she has her original body back. None of the dresses actually fit her original body. But either way, it's one of those like small moments to remind us that those two characters had basically switched bodies. But then we get into the big plot point. Now, this is the moment where we basically find out that Bessie Braddock and also Psylocke are going to go inside the psychic container, which does look like a knife, to go into the mind of Malice as a way to reason with her, to calm her down. Because if they're able to actually calm her down, then Charles Xavier will give her a body to work with. And so meaning that she'll be able to live on Krakoa as long as she plays nicely on the island. And so this is them hoping that they will be able to actually reason with her so that they can give her a new body so she can try to live a life that she wants to actually live. Now, when they go inside the knife, well, that is the moment they kind of realize that when it came to Malice, the best moments of her life was when she was at some kind of young teenage warehouse club where bad bands play at to kind of get noticed by the world. Now, that is the moment where you basically have Betsy Braddock go deeper into the mind of Malice alongside with Psylocke, where they're actually able to find Malice in there. Now, when they do find Malice in her own mind, you do have Betsy Braddock try to talk to Malice and try to reason with Malice to say, listen, if you are actually able to just play goody two-shoe and just live on the island, then you'll be okay. But if you decide to attack Krakoa, Charles Xavier will lock you away in a black hole forever and ever. And of course, that means you'll never see the light of day. And so it's kind of Betsy Braddock saying, you have a chance to live a second life. You have the chance to live on a great island in a new body and live the life you want to live. But you have to play nice. If you can't play nice, then you cannot join us. Now, of course, that is the moment where you have Malice kind of talk some trash toward Betsy Braddock, where you have Malice say, listen, if I deny your request, if I say no to your idea, you can't stop me. Even if you fight me, I know I can beat you. And the reason why Malice feels like this is because, remember, Betsy Braddock lost in the X of Swords event. She lost in that crossover against Inca the Unbeaten. And so with that being said, it's Malice saying you lost a battle, which meaning that you are basically an easy target. I can easily take you out if we fight in here, if I deny your requests. Now, you do have Betsy Braddock kind of respond in a way saying like, yes, I may have lost that fight in the X of Swords crossover event, but my side, we won the war. Meaning that I may have lost a battle, but my side has won a war. But you also mistaken my past, because there have been a lot of battles in the past that I have actually won. And so no, darling, I may not seem like a fighter to you, but I am a fighter. And so you have Malice and Betsy Braddock basically fight in the mind of Malice. And this fight, it's huge. It's big. It does go on for a couple pages. But unfortunately, while the two characters are fighting against one another in the mind of Malice, it does seem like Betsy Braddock actually does kill off Malice. And actually, she does. She does kill off Malice. Malice is technically died at the end of the fight between her and Betsy Braddock. But then the book closes on an actual high note. And what I mean is that with Betsy Braddock being able to kill off Malice, that means the five were able to bring her back to life. Because remember, when it comes to the five, it's five mutants who are able to create a new clone body for you. And when they do create that new clone body for you, you're basically going to have a new body made for you. And then Charles Xavier is going to download all of your memories into that new clone body for you. And so that what happened. The five made Malice a new clone body. And then Charles Xavier downloaded all of her memories into that new clone body. And so Malice technically was brought back to life and a brand new body. She's able to live a life like she wants to. She's able to live a life like she always wanted to before she had died, quote unquote died, back when she was 16 years old, living with her mother. Now, of course, you have Malice saying, listen, we all know how this is going to end. I'm basically going to do something to tick off Charles Xavier, and then he's going to send me away into the black hole abyss while I stay there forever. But of course, this is Charles Xavier saying, I'm giving you a chance to not do that. like Bessie Braddock and Psylocke, they have convinced me to give you that chance to live a life where you basically will not be locked away. Live a life where you're not going to tick me off and everything should be a-okay. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.